I'm a masochist. When I was younger, I used to think that word was pronounced Christ. I don't know why. I don't know where the R magically came from. But I'll tell you one thing. One thing I do know. The Dallas Mavericks might be the Antichrist. At least in clutch time so far this season, they are. I had like kind of a funny idea for a little bit at the beginning of this video. A little skit, a little intro. But I decided against it because there's nothing funny. There's nothing funny about what's going on with this Dallas Mavericks team currently. They're 5-6, 11 games into the season, nowhere near where we were expecting them to be record-wise. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. And what stings more if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, they've lost the last 3 games by a combined 6 points. A 1-point loss to the Phoenix Suns, a 2-point loss to the Denver Nuggets, and a 3-point loss to the Golden State Warriors. Congratulations, Utah Jazz, on your 4-point win this upcoming Thursday. Good work, guys. All right. We don't even need to show up. Just silver, mark it in as a W. And what's all sort of frustrating, concerning, but also at the same time reason for optimism is the Mavericks are not getting their asses beat. This isn't a losing stretch you see from time to time where teams are just losing by 10 points every night and just cannot figure out ways to get win. They are losing in clutch time. 5 of their 6 losses this season have been in the clutch, which is not really a number you want to have. I mean, they're 1-5 in clutch time so far. 5 losses, the most clutch losses in the NBA so far this season. They have a minus 31 net rating in the clutch so far. That is 27th. A 104 offensive rating in the clutch. That is 20th. An abysmal, putrid 135 defensive rating in the clutch. That is 27th. So by practically every metric, they've been god-awful in clutch minutes so far this season. Now, in case you're wondering what constitutes a clutch game, the NBA defines it as a game that's within 5 points with 5 minutes or less in the game. This is a stark contrast compared to where the Mavericks were last year as a clutch team, where they finished the season 23-9 in the clutch with a 20.5 net rating, which was 3rd best in the NBA, a 127 offensive rating, which was the best in the NBA, and a 106 defensive rating, which was 9th best. And sometimes this is how it goes in the NBA. It's a reason why last year I was higher on the Dallas Mavericks entering the season than a lot of people were, because during the 2022-2023 season, nobody had more clutch losses than the Dallas Mavericks. And usually that's something that swings. It's like a pendulum. It goes back and forth. Of course, the better players you have, the better your roster is, the higher likelihood you're going to win clutch games. But a lot of it is kind of luck at times. And we'll go over some stuff here. The Mavericks have gotten unlucky in the clutch so far this season, but that's how it goes. You can't just constantly depend on being within 5 points with 5 minutes left in the game thinking you're going to win every game, because sometimes shit just doesn't go your way. The ball bounces, a 50-50 ball bounces right to the other team, or you get an unfavorable whistle down the stretch. We've seen that several times so far this season for the Mavs. And shots that you're used to hitting might just rim out or halfway down and out or just barely miss, and next thing you know, you lose the game because of that. The Mavericks have played in 6 clutch games so far this season. They're 1-5. That means there's 30 minutes of clutch film to go over. I watched all of it. And I just wanted to go through some of these plays. Like, what's happening? Are the Mavericks just not executing? Is the Mavericks game plan terrible? What's the blame here? I have to say, my takeaway, I don't think the process offensively for the Mavericks is terrible down the stretch of these games. I think they're missing a lot of shots they're accustomed to hitting. Luka's in a terrible shooting slump, and that doesn't help whatsoever. They're struggling to hit threes. And when the game really gets down to it, like the last 2 minutes, they're awful. And the stats back this up, by the way. In the final 2 minutes of clutch games so far this season, the final 2 minutes, the Mavs as a team are a total of 5 of 18 from the field. That is 27%. They are 2 of 11 from 3. That is 18%. In the 3 minutes prior, so with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter all the way to the 2-minute mark in these clutch games, the Mavs are 13 of 22 from the field, which is a fantastic 59%, and 3 of 7 from deep. And that passed the eye test for me. I was noticing watching these games like, man, the Mavericks are like doing good in clutch time, and it isn't until the last 100 seconds of the game that they shit all over themselves and leave a disgusting biohazard all over the basketball court. Kyrie's been one of the lone bright spots so far in these clutch minutes. He's shooting 53% from the field, 40% from deep. It's all about just getting shots for him and being aggressive. I mentioned how bad the defense has been for the Mavs in the clutch. How does this happen right here? How does Jaden McDaniels just walk into the paint? Luka's the low man. He has to slide down and help right there. That's not just like an optional thing. He has to do it. And one thing I've seen in these clutch minutes, Luka's been dreadful defensively. There's no two ways around that. Before we go any further, I just want to expand on that a little bit. Luka has always been a questionable defender in clutch time. And we're going to get to some plays here where Luka does a good job individually, one-on-one defensively. That's not really the problem. It's help defense. It's rotating. It's keeping your guy in front of you for longer than a second, that becomes a bit of an issue down the stretch of games for Luka. And it's teams target him, and it might not be directly, right? They might not go after him in isolation, but they're going to make him defend screens. They're going to put him in action. They're going to put him in off-ball action. They're going to make sure that he's working on defense. And so far, it's been pretty rough to start the season for him. Now, if you guys are a Dallas Mavericks fan, I highly recommend you guys subscribe to Talk's Substack. He does great, fantastic work. And one thing that he's been harping on quite a bit so far to start the season is the Mavericks rotations and just how many minutes these guys are getting, especially Luka. Luka has played 40-plus minutes in 4 out of the last 5 games. That's not really something that you want. And, there could be a level of fatigue there and tiring out by the end of games, which is why I've been vocal about, it's probably a good thing that Luka doesn't have the ball in his hands every single time down the court. And we want Luka to get under that 40-minute threshold because that's just unbelievably unsustainable to ask for. But then there's the other problem of the Mavericks are dealing with a lot of injuries. And Mavs fans are frustrated with the rotations and who's playing on the court. But then at the same time, if we want guys to not play 40 minutes, with all the injuries in the rotation, it means guys that we don't really want to see on the court are going to have to be on the court. It's this can't win situation really. But regardless, the effort just has to be better. And it's been a big reason why the Mavericks have struggled late in game. And there have been a lot of shots like these right here. When these shots aren't going, it really sticks out how bad they are. A step back 3 late in the clock. Those are shots where when Luka's hitting them, we're going crazy and feeling good. So I can't really say that that's necessarily a terrible shot. But again, Luka in the clutch this season, 33% from the field, 25% from deep. In the last 2 minutes of these games, 25% from the field, 20% from deep. So these misses kind of stand out, and it's not really fair because he'll still hit an absolutely ridiculous bomb like this and then talk shit immediately after. And the reality is if he misses this shot, we're all like, what the fuck was that offensive possession? That was absolutely putrid. But because Luka's Luka, he hits it. Offensive rebounding has also been a huge problem for the Mavericks so far in clutch minutes. I think a lot of that has to do with their switch everything scheme. So it means Derek Lively, as you can see here, is out on the perimeter against Anthony Edwards, and Klay Thompson is tasked with boxing out Rudy Gobert. Another moment like that later in this Timberwolves game. The game's basically over right here, but a stop cements it. Tough pull up for Anthony Edwards, but can't secure the rebound right there. Nickeil Alexander-Walker steals it. Anthony Edwards hits a 3, and that gave the Timberwolves some life. We can't skip past this Timberwolves game without saying positive because it's the only clutch game the Mavericks have won, and it was the first one that they played. And again, this is sometimes it looks really good, the ball movement, getting the ball in the middle of the floor, Lively, kick out to Luka. Klay, wild closeout by Jaden McDaniels. We're driving, we're dropping it off for Derek Lively. That's the ball movement, and that's the reason why you go out and get guys like Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall. This idea that we can put pressure on defenses, especially late in games, by attacking the rim and getting good looks off of that. And we've seen that from time to time in the clutch. It's just a matter of getting shots to go down the bottom of the basket. This game against the Rockets, the Mavs down by so many points. They claw and fight their way back into it. It's a clutch game by the end of it. Luka has 5 fouls right here. And he plays great individual defense in this game. Great isolation defense. I joke, but it might not be a joke. Luka might need to start every game with 5 fouls. It's the best defense that he plays. I mean, look how good this defensive possession is. Of course, they don't get the offensive rebound, but PJ Washington gets a huge block right there. And this is part of what I'm talking about. The offense would look much better if Luka was playing like Luka to start this season. Najee Marshall comes to set a screen, gets Şengün involved in the action. Şengün's in a deep drop. Luka just misses that 3 right there. But again, we're going to get some great individual defense by Luka. The Rockets are hunting him. Jabari Smith Jr. is Luka's matchup and assignment to start this possession. Jabari's coming to set a screen. So Luka gets switched on. Jalen Green's isolating. Tries to draw a foul there. Great help by Najee Marshall. And look at PJ Washington's effort on the board. One of the things I really noticed when watching this, I think PJ played in 3 of these. He's missed the last 4 or 5 games with a knee sprain. I don't know the exact number. He's very crucial to what they've got going on. Once PJ Washington comes back into the fold, things are going to look much differently for this Mavericks team, especially in crunch time, because he is probably their most important defender, 1, and 2, his effort on the boards is very noticeable in times when the Mavericks desperately need it. This is the type of offense you expect to see and where good things happen. A long rebound tip out to Kyrie, who attacks the defense immediately. And look how many guys go to Kyrie. Klay Thompson just needs a sliver of space, baby. Captain Klay. Again, I left this feeling like the process is good at times for the Mavericks. It's just the execution that's not fully there. Klay's going to ghost this screen, flow into a flare screen from Najee Marshall, and gets a really clean look from 3. He hits that. It's a 3-point game with 2:45 left. I know that Tari Eason comes and gets a hand up. That's good. That's a good contest by him, a good side contest, but that's a clean look for Klay. And it just front rims barely. After a huge defensive stop in this Rockets game, Mavs have the ball, 2 minutes left. Ball in Luka Doncic's hand. He finally hits a step back 3. Everyone's going crazy. Crowd's going wild. It's a 3-point game. A few possessions later, the Mavs get a stop. 1:45 left. They're only down by 3. Can they complete this comeback? What did I tell you about those final 2 minutes for the Mavericks so far? Dreadful. Luka turns it over, and this is partially what I was talking about here. Okay, the clutch minutes, the pendulum swings, a lot of it boils down to luck. The Rockets broadcast had an angle of that strip. That was a clear and obvious foul. Okay, but the refs don't give it to Luka. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Now, this is another part of the problem where the Mavericks have found themselves in such deep holes at times this season because they start games so slowly that you basically have to play damn near perfect and hope for every lucky bounce and 50-50 call to go your way in clutch time, or else you're going to lose because that's just how you positioned yourself. They have to position themselves better to start these games. These are the ones that really hurt you. 4:30 left in the game. You're down by 4. Kyrie's going to get a pretty decent shot here on the baseline. You live with that shot from Kyrie, especially in clutch minutes. But look at the Pacers just turn and go. The Mavs are slow to get back on defense, half-assing their way up the court. Benedict Mathurin layup. There's a 4-point swing right there. And then the next possession, you need an answer. What are we going to get? Just a putrid offensive possession here. Kyrie's going to cut through. Ball goes to Klay. There's 6 on the shot clock right now, and Klay has it at half court. The likelihood of anything good coming from this is next to 0. PJ's not ready to shoot. Shot clock violation. 3:15 left in this game. Absolutely in the balance. You have a chance to win this one. All you have to do is string together some stops, get some buckets. PJ Washington, again, they miss him. That's a tough shot. You live with the results, but Daniel Gafford cannot box out. Miles Turner does a really poor job. Tips it out to Andrew Nembhard, and then once you know it, Tyrese Halliburton, not good defense at all. Miscommunication right there. Kyrie's expecting a switch. It doesn't happen. That's basically this Phoenix Suns game. Whatever could go wrong for the Mavericks did go wrong, including this game being broadcasted on ESPN. What's going on right here, ESPN? What are we thinking? 100-100, 5 minutes left. 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference. 2 Western Conference contenders going at it. Very, very entertaining, high stakes. Everyone's loving it. Look at what's on the screen. Huh? The game is only taking up half the fucking screen because we just have Jason Kidd standing there on the other half. This company has no clue what it's doing. None. But, man, this was a good game with a lot of back and forth, especially between Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Good defense right here by the Dallas Mavericks. You live with that Bradley Beal 3. I don't know what Bradley Beal's doing right there. And then Kyrie was just incredible in this game. Goes right at Kevin Durant. Left-handed finish high off the glass. AD next trip down the court. Good offense here by the Suns. Tyus Jones is going to come set a ball screen because they want Kyrie guarding KD. Kyrie's just a little late getting up, and KD hits that pull-up. Then the Mavericks say, okay, Tyus Jones, you're getting involved in this action. Klay Thompson comes to set a screen. They get the switch. Kyrie says, let me have this dance. I mean, this back and forth. What a great game. I mean, surely this game doesn't end in a fiasco, right? The problem that has been plaguing this team down the stretch of games all season long rears its ugly head big time in this one. Spencer Dinwiddie guarding Kevin Durant. The Kevin Durant stopper. You know that's what they call Dinwiddie? No, it's not. I don't know why he's guarding him. But Bradley Beal misses a wide open floater. You luck out, but you can't grab the rebound. Klay Thompson, Luka Doncic, whoever, somebody has to do a better job of boxing out right there. That can't happen, and it leads to a Royce O'Neal wide open 3 to tie the game. Again, from the 5-minute mark to the 2-minute mark, no problems with the offense. Offense looks great. Offense looks good. Klay Thompson's going to attack this closeout right here. And a nice little drop-off for Daniel Gafford. That's why you go out and get guys who can dribble the basketball. Even got Luka playing some great individual defense here on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a 7-footer. And he got Luka biting a few times right here. But Luka uses that wingspan, sneaky 7'2" wingspan, by the way, to contest that shot. Offensive rebound. Then the final 2 minutes, this team resorts to isolation hero ball. This is a tough shot for Kyrie Irving. He was cooking in this game. So I guess you live with that. But that's just a difficult shot. You get this offensive rebound. A bucket here goes such a long way. You probably win the game. And Luka opts for a 3 here instead of attacking this Beal closeout. Nurkic ties the game on the other end, and then we just get a brutal Kyrie Irving turnover here. Again, he was balling in this game, but it's just the last 2 minutes is tough. It's so bad. And again, these rebounding problems rearing their ugly head. Good play by the Suns. Nurkic comes to set a screen on Najee Marshall. Gafford doesn't get out. Wide open 3. Mavs luck out, but they can't grab the fucking rebound. Nurkic put back. Suns up top. So you go to your bread and butter if you're the Dallas Mavericks. High screen and roll right here. Gafford comes up, flips the screen. Luka gets going downhill. Nurkic just plays this horribly, and it leads to a wide open dunk. That's why you want to see the Mavericks have a little bit of action, a little bit of purpose into what they're doing late in games, because it can lead to looks like that. But we all know how this shit show of a game ended. Royce O'Neal gets a wide open floater, misses, can't secure the offensive rebound. Was Gafford shoved in the back? Yeah, guess what? I don't want that called. Was Nurkic fouled here? Yeah, guess what? I don't want that called. Game over. And of course, Luka misses a half-court shot at the end to seal it off. Everyone was mad about this. Could the Mavericks have gotten a better play? Maybe. 0.8 seconds left. It's going to be really tough to draw up something. In a lot of ways, the Nuggets one is really the toughest pill to swallow for the Mavericks because they played really well, I thought, down the stretch, and it just didn't result in a win. Kyrie was cooking. You see him put pressure on the defense right here. Leads to a kick out to Luka Doncic, who's hitting catch-and-shoot threes at a pretty high clip so far this season. This is tremendous defense on Nikola Jokic. Luka closes out hard because Jokic was just draining three after three. Clay's helping in off Peyton Watson in the corner, which is the right choice. Peyton Watson was hot from three in this game, but has been a little bit slow to start the season. But Jokic looks off Clay and should, in theory, have Christian Brown for an easy dump off. But that's great hands by Daniel Gafford. And on the other end, it leads to a Luka Doncic layup to tie the game. Jokic giveth and Jokic taketh away. I mean, these turnovers late in games have been really, really, really hurtful for the Mavericks. Good contest by Luka in transition right there. Another offensive rebound. In Najee's defense, not a lot he could do. This is the type of offense you want to see late in games. Get into something early. The Nuggets ice this ball screen, which means Gafford gets it in the middle of the floor with 15 seconds left. Great cut from Najee leads to an and one. When Kyrie's making shots like this, you just have to win the game. And a flurry of buckets like these from Kyrie will come into play later, but that is an unbelievable shot. Over your right shoulder off the glass like that, that's a shot you're not supposed to hit. Over a really good defender, Peyton Watson, too. Look at Peyton Watson's reaction. That ridiculous shot put the Mavericks up 2. Now you're in good position right here. Jokic backing down Gafford. Gafford does a good job. Forces him to spin. Good contest. Luka rebound. You have to win this game. And this is the prime example of the putrid offense by the Dallas Mavericks. Okay? Luka is slow to bring the ball up the court. Doesn't get across half court until 15 seconds left. The ball never gets within 30 feet of the basket. And Luka settles for this deep contested three that really has no chance of going in. Now on the other end, Jokic going to curl right here. Missed the initial shot, but tips in the rebound because every single Dallas Maverick is just standing around and watching. More ISO ball. Granted, Kyrie Irving was cooking, so you kind of got to let it happen. That's not a bad shot from three. That's an unbelievable defensive play by Peyton Watson to get over this screen and somehow manage to block the shot. That's incredible defense. Speaking of incredible defense, the Mavericks do the exact opposite of that right here. Just bad defense right here by Kyrie Irving. No resistance. MPJ gets the easiest floater of all time. And then, of course, with 6.5 seconds left, down 2, naturally the Mavericks are going to settle for the incredible tough sidestep 3 in the corner instead of anything else. That's a loss. The Warriors game was just missed opportunity after missed opportunity, letting an all-time great like Steph Curry hang around just long enough to deliver the knockout blow to you. Mavs up 5 with 4:40 left. Good ball movement. Great pass to the corner by Luka. Leads to a wide-open Quentin Grimes 3 that's not even in the same fucking zip code as the rim. Fortunately, Draymond smokes a bunny on the other end, and this leads to a leak-out opportunity for the Mavericks. Kyrie, ooh, what a move. Lob up to Gafford, comes down with it, and one. The Mavs have a chance to go up by 8 points. If Gafford makes the free throw, he missed it, by the way. This is a game you fucking have to win. You're up 7 with 4:33 left. You have to win this game. This upcoming clip right here is where I'm going to push back against a lot of what people are saying, that the Mavericks don't run any offense or anything like that. They do. They run their offense. It's what they've always done. It's what they did in the clutch time last year when they were incredibly successful in the clutch because Kyrie Irving is incredible and Luka Doncic was incredible last season. They're going to get a switch that they want right here. It's just the Mavericks cannot take advantage of it. Luka cannot take advantage of it. So far this season, he cannot take advantage of the opportunities that he is getting and the advantages that he is creating. Out of a timeout, staggered screen action right here by the Mavericks. Get Steph Curry switched onto Luka. This is what you want. This is the exact look that you want. Let Luka go to work. Let him draw a double team or let him get a shot instead. He gets stripped. Worse than that, he's incredibly slow to get up the court. And then once he does get up the court, he guards nobody. Melton trailing the play, wide open 3. That turns a 7-point game into a 4-point game just like that. That is a 5-0, potentially 6-0 swing. You take care of the basketball right there. You convert on a look. You have an opportunity to go up 9, 10 points and damn near close the game out. But unfortunately, you couldn't take advantage of the opportunities that were presented to you. You let Steph Curry hang around, and he just went absolutely fucking nuclear. The Warriors just spammed the same exact action time and time and time and time again. They set an initial screen to get Luka on ball and then bring up the center, which forces Luka then to defend that screening action. And unfortunately for the Mavericks, it was just bad news bears from then on out. The centers couldn't get up high enough to defend a Steph Curry shot, and when they did, Steph Curry just cooked them. And that is probably Luka's biggest weakness as a basketball player, is navigating screens. He just does not do it. And then a couple of Luka shots here down the stretch that were really kind of bummers. The Mavericks running this stack action they like to run really only works if the screeners guy gets screened, but Draymond does a great job hedging this. Luka does not get out to screen him, so there's no switching or really any advantage created from this. Wiggins, who's one of the best Luka defenders in the NBA, if not maybe the best, just plays great individual defense right here. That's a really tough shot for Luka. He misses it. And then this shot here, down 3 with 13 seconds left, no timeouts. I will defend this shot a tiny bit because it is difficult when you're bringing the ball up. You see the Warriors are just hugging guys on the three-point line. There's really no point in coming to set screens or anything like that because it's going to get blown up. Any pass is probably getting stolen. And you also run the risk of getting fouled, especially later in the shot clock or game clock that you go. It just makes more sense for the Warriors to foul, especially if you're dribbling the basketball. This was never going to be a great look. And this was not the shot that lost the Mavericks the game. It was everything that led up to it. So, yeah, it's been ugly down the stretch of games for the Dallas Mavericks. There's a lot of blame to go around. They're not playing good enough defense. I think that's really the offense is, especially in clutch time, the offense is always what gets singled out because those are the shots you see, the shots with no time left, the shots with 10 seconds left. Those are the shots that get magnified. But really, the Mavs defense has to tighten up down the stretch of games. They have to secure rebounds. They have to end defensive possessions better than what they're doing right now. PJ Washington coming back will help that out tremendously, but also shortening the workload some of these guys have will definitely help out in terms of just being fatigued by the end of the game and not being as locked in defensively as they need to be. The Mavs are missing some shots. Luka has not been good whatsoever in clutch time this season, and we just have to hope these things work themselves out. They're not 1-5 bad in the clutch. Are they going to be as good as they were last year? Maybe not, because the history of the NBA shows us that's not really how it works. But I hope they figure it out soon, because this isn't very fun.